let's talk about Jeff Bezos real quick. And I only want to spend 10 minutes on this. So let me see. 150. All right. Jeff Bezos appeared with the New York Times and CNBC. So this is the host of CNBC right here. And Jeff Bezos spoke on working with Donald Trump as well as maintaining his position and not endorsing a candidate for president of the United States of America with the Washington Post. Check it out.
Let me ask you, and you know that there was blowback. I just want to read you. This is Marty Barron, who was your former editor of that paper. He said, "This is cowardice with democracy as its casualty." David.
Wait. I want y'all to catch something that he said. I want y'all to catch. They're talking about Jeff Bezos giving more credibility to the Washington Post by choosing not to endorse the president of the United States of America last year, which traditionally the editors try to go with the Democratic candidate, okay? I want y'all to catch something when we listening to this. Listen to what he said. Let me rewind it for y'all, okay?
Let me ask you, and you know that there was blowback. I just want to read you. This is Marty Barron, who was your former editor.
Former editor. Jeff Bezos is sitting here. His net worth has exploded even more since Trump took office. Shout out to Anwar Williams. Former editor, not editor-in-chief, former. Context matters.
Of that paper, he said, "This is cowardice with democracy as its casualty." David Remnick said, if Jeff Bezos had said 2 years ago that he thought the editorial page should get rid of endorsements, all of them, you could argue the case one way or another. But he was effectively suggesting that given this scenario with the timing of it.
Look, if I had the prescience to think about this topic at all 2 years before, that would have been better for perception reasons. But in fact, we made this decision. It was the right decision. I'm proud of the decision we made. And it was far from cowardly because we knew there would be blowback and we did the right thing anyway.
Okay, so let me ask you about that, though. There was blowback. I think 250,000 people canceled their subscription. So did you think when you were doing this that some people were going to say that actually it creates less trust in media? I mean, part of it was aimed at creating more trust in media. And at the same time, clearly there were other people saying maybe there's less trust.
No, I don't follow that logic.
You don't? Mm-mm. And so were you surprised at the?
Not really. We knew that this was going to be perceived in a very big way. As I said, these things punch above their weight.
And were you worried about that at all? I mean,
you can't worry. You can't do the wrong thing because you're worried about bad PR or whatever it is you want to call it. So this was the right decision. We made the right decision. I'm very proud of the decision.
And I think that they made the right decision also. One of the reasons why people are walking away, you can't try to hold on to the people that are aging out and not necessarily going to be adding value long-term into your company by trying to appeal to them or trying to please them. You just have to be honest with where you stand and let the chips fall where they may, and know that long-term everything works out in your favor. I'll give you an example. I always like to use myself as an example first. I say whatever it is that comes to my mind, good or bad, right or wrong, and I say, listen, I'm not an echo chamber and don't mute other people that have a difference of opinion than me. Let's just keep having a conversation. I might be wrong, but I doubt it. But I say what I mean and I mean what I say. On a regular basis, right here on this platform, right on the Anton Daniels platform and on After Hours. And you know what makes my platform so awesome? Shout out to Kerry, shout out to Slimmy, shout out to Q, shout out to Quentin, and shout out to Mika, okay? We all, you know what they do against me? Almost every single show? Disagree wholeheartedly. The last two shows, me and Kerry been like this. Not arguing, but just passionately disagreeing with each other. And you know what I do with her as a result of it? Not because she's trying to disagree, but because she authentically believes differently than me. You know what I do? I love that. I love it. And again, a lot of times she's agreeing with me, but lately we've been on two different opposite ends of the fence. And you know what it's done? It's forced me to rethink my positions on things. And hopefully it forces her to rethink her position on things. And some things, like she said something yesterday with regard to the United Healthcare CEO, because I had spoke before her, and then she came in and she just gave me a whole butt whooping on her whole logic, and it forced me to just completely rethink my position. And I said, you know what, Carrie, you're 100% right. I said, you know what? You're 100% right. It's funny because the night before, or the clip before, they hated her in the chat, and then they loved her when she was actually schooling me yesterday on this whole thing with United Healthcare, and then they start hating her again, and then they loved her. But the point is that it's better to be authentic than it is to cower down and try to appease. Authenticity long term is going to win 10 times out of 10. Authenticity is going to win 10 times out of 10. I don't go after my people after the show and say, you know what, I don't like the fact that you got out of me. I don't like the fact that you went at me. We don't even talk about anything that has anything to do with the show after the show goes off. We just be trying to figure out, hey man, we partying. Oh, it's your birthday. Oh man, whatever, so on and so forth. Because I genuinely value the fact that they are 100% comfortable with saying what they really mean and meaning what they say. I don't operate in an echo chamber in real life. I don't operate in an echo chamber with the people that I create content with, and I don't operate in an echo chamber on these platforms. I say what I really mean, and I mean what I say. And a lot of times people agree with me, they disagree with me. But the fact of the matter is, being authentic is better and realer than trying to be biased towards something. Sometimes I change my mind, sometimes I don't. I love being authentic. And to speak specifically to Jeff Bezos' point, he did the right thing and he made the right decision by saying that no, journalism shouldn't be that. The reason why people, and he's not going to say this out loud, but the reason why people are walking away from CNN, the reason why people are hating MSNBC is because they can see that it's a clear agenda against something, and there is no real objective perspectives or opinions to balance it out, or to just report the news authentically and then separate the difference between telling your opinion from telling the facts. But it's so biased. That's why people are hating The View. The only reason that The View is getting the views that they're getting is because they're getting people that hate their opinion, but it's so entertaining to watch them crash out. And it's also okay to admit when somebody else got one over you, or they corrected you, or they got a great point. It's okay to say, you know what? You right on that. I told Carrie last night straight up. I said, you know what? Not only are you right on that, right after we get off of this show, I'm stealing your talking points and I'm going to do a whole video off of it. And that's exactly what I did. When I ended the show last night, I did a whole video changing my position and re-uploading and re-educating myself on some of the things, because some of the things she said, it just hit different. She said, Anton, listen, this is what happened when I did this and this insurance and I had to fight and all of this, so on and so forth. But it hit different. I said, And she getting better at articulating her points. I'm going to have to step my game up, because you're not going to be schooling me on my own panel. Not every day now. Nope. It's going to force you to step your game up. That's what you want. You don't want to operate in an echo chamber. You want to operate around people that's going to force you to step your game up. So now I'm going to be ready. Absolutely, I steal her content. I steal from everybody that adds great value for me. I'ma steal the right things. If somebody give me something that I could use that helps me to become better or better educated, I'm stealing it. 100% I'm stealing it. 1,000%.
If we're talking about Trump, I think it's very interesting. I'm actually very optimistic this time around that we're going to see. I'm very hopeful about this. He seems to have a lot of energy around reducing regulation. And my point of view, if I can help him do that, I'm going to help him, because we do have too much regulation in this country. This country is so set up to grow. By the way, all of our problems, all of our economic problems, like if you look at the deficit, and the debt, the national debt, and how gigantic it is as a portion of GDP, these are real problems, and they're real long-term problems. And the way you get out of them is by outgrowing them. You're going to solve the problem of the national debt by making it a smaller percentage of GDP, not by shrinking the national debt, but by growing the GDP. You have to grow the denominator. And that means you have to grow GDP at 3, 4, 5% a year, and let the national debt grow slower than that. If you can do that, this is a very manageable problem. So we need a growth orientation in this country. This is the most important thing, a growth mindset. And we are the luckiest country in the world. We have all these natural resources, including energy independence. We have the best risk capital system in the world by far. So, people get confused about why does the United States have so much venture success, so much entrepreneurial success? Why are the big tech companies here and not somewhere else? What's really going on with all this dynamism in this country compared to what we see around elsewhere in the world? Right. And there are a bunch of reasons for that, but the biggest one, 8 of 10 points there, is that we have better risk capital. So it's not the banking system. We have a good banking system, but so does Europe. Right. What's different here is that you can raise, $50 million of seed capital to do something that only has a 10% chance of working.
You can raise $15 million of seed capital that only has a 10% chance of working. Well, that just flies in the face of the argument of Umar Johnson saying that women should invest all of their resources into a man. If a startup company only has a 10% chance of working and they able to raise $15 million, what your little $700 a month gonna do for the dude that you reinvesting in, and y'all can invest in my dreams? See, now y'all about to get me to get Molly started.
That's crazy. But the people who are giving you that seed capital know that their expected value is still positive in many cases, or they're at least gambling that that's true. That risk capital system that we have in this country is turning out to be very hard for other countries to duplicate. So we have that. We have, we speak English, and English is turning into the lingua franca of the whole world. It's there's so many advantages here, but we are burdened by excessive permitting and regulation. You can't build a bridge and all these things. You know what they are. We see these examples all the time. We need to be able to build solar fields and everything else.
But so you're optimistic.
I'm super optimistic
about this president. And the reason I ask is because
I'm very optimistic that President Trump is serious about this regulatory agenda, right. And I think he has a good chance of succeeding.
What about the idea that he thinks that the press is the enemy?
Well, I think I'm going to try to talk him out of that idea. I don't think the press is the enemy. And I don't think, he's also, you've probably grown in the last 8 years. He has too.
That's why I like Trump. I really do. Because Trump, honestly, whether people want to admit it or not, Trump honestly is the most transformative, and he actually, through his masculinity, brings people together. Through his masculinity, he has brought people together. That's just the facts. And so people want to work with them. Tech leaders want to work with them. So far, I've seen Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg all say they have never done that. They've never openly admitted before a president ever took office, say, I want to work with that guy because I truly believe he can be transformational for the United States of America and ultimately for our own business interests. You've never seen that before in your entire life. You've never seen that before. You've never seen so many people so hopeful and optimistic that there could truly be transformational change inside of the United States of America. You've never seen that before. So shout out to Jeff Bezos. I think that was a phenomenal interview. If you can go and watch the whole thing, it's absolutely awesome. That's the stuff that I like to watch in my spare time.